If you've got a little time, then come and spend it with us. 'Cause now you're listening to the Rough Cut.
Hello, and welcome down to another episode of the Rough Cut Golf Podcast, where you join us as December encroaches. The golf season is coming to a freezing end, but not for us, as you will soon find out. Today I'm joined by Kieran and by Mick, closeted up in a mill in Manchester. Gents, have we had a wonderful weekend?
Yeah, very enjoyable. Stayed in. It rained, probably the hardest it's ever rained since I've lived in Manchester over the weekend. So it was very cozy in our house. So we didn't leave.
I don't think it was you alone. I think pretty much the entire UK got battered.
Yeah. Pelted. I saw stuff this morning of places down south entirely flooded. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
It actually rained a lot less up here. It's actually quite nice up here. Did you not go out?
It was actually good. I went for a run on Sunday, but it was still raining.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. I climbed two Welsh mountains in FootJoy shoes, if anyone wants to know. So I climbed two. What were they called? Penny Fan and Penny Garda or something like that. Both like pretty big boys. You know what I mean?
Brother, they had snow on top.
Yeah, big boys. And
they were called mountains.
Yeah. And I was wearing FootJoy summer shoes during it.
Wow. That's comfort.
I don't have any like walking boots.
Do you know the reason why you don't have any shoes? Because they're all here.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There is a bin liner. You know what? I'm going to get Mick to take a picture. There's a bin liner currently in the office, just full of kit and smelly shoes
behind the TV in the office.
He's just not brought. No, I'll put them in a bag and move them near the door.
Oh, have you? Right.
He's basically got one day to get rid of
them.
No,
they're going today. But yeah, no, that was my like next best option of like, you know, what's waterproof, what's like a little bit grippy, and yeah, do you know it worked out?
Comfy.
Yeah, do you know it worked out? It worked out. There was people with like, you know, as we were climbing up, there was these people with like metal sort of like things wrapped around their shoes
Crampons.
and spikes, and it was like, what is this? And we were just there, just like you know, we were proper amateurs, but it was good fun.
Still get it. I remember this. I think shoes do have their own purpose. You know, I don't think you can transfer completely. I remember literally back in the day when Adidas Boost shoes came out.
Love.
Which have got like little springy things in the bottom.
Yeah. Polystyrene style job.
Yeah, and I was signed to Adi at the time, but Rick wasn't. Right? Rick was like free agent at that point. And we got sent through these Adidas Boost golf shoes. And they were kind of like trainers, but they were golf shoes. And Rick was like, oh my God, these are so comfy, I could run in them. It just so happened that we were running like the Manchester 10, 12K or whatever it was.
Right.
Like the week later. Didn't think anything else of it. Anyway, we all turned up. It was me, Carter and Rick running. All in the same little section.
Well, we'll have to try and remake this video.
I'll try to pull the pictures up.
Sounds hilarious.
When we're all thin. And we all ran, and Rick was wearing these golf shoes to run. And he's like, yeah, they're just so comfy, I think I could run in them. I was like, mate, this ain't going to go well.
That's a terrible idea.
So anyway, we started running. I instantly needed the toilet. So I let those guys run on after a few kilometres, and I went into the toilet. Anyway, caught them up. Predictably, Rick is struggling by about 6K in. He can hardly walk. And I'm like, this is such a terrible idea. So me being the gentleman that I am, I slowed down and I ran with him for the remainder of the race.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what he did? You know what he did?
I can just
which
imagine.
I will never forgive him for. Mm-hmm. We got near the finish of the race. I'm looking, because it finishes on Deansgate, which is the main street in Manchester City Centre. I'm like looking around in wonder, all the crowds and all the rest of it. I'm like, oh, Rick, this is really cool, isn't it? I turn round and that absolute git is sprinting to the finish line. I've ran with him almost half the race to keep him company because he could hardly walk. And then, as soon as I'm distracted near the finish line, he sprints for it, so he finishes before me.
Wow. That's heartbreaking.
I couldn't believe it.
That is...
Didn't even like give me a tap on the shoulder to say, do you want a race or are we going for it?
In fact, he went, look, a distraction, and then went for it.
I couldn't believe it.
God, so, that is horrible.
Let that be a lesson. Try and wear appropriate footwear. But if you are going to climb a mountain, apparently FootJoy shoes are the way.
And don't trust Rick Shiels.
Not a race. God, unbelievable.
Oh, he has done a lot of running, so I imagine that in the current climate, he would beat you without having to resort to nefarious tactics, you reckon?
No, mate.
No?
I'm running wise.
Yeah.
I'm not very fast.
No.
I'm like a shire horse practically. I can go for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But just don't expect me to like
You're
jump
not doing
over
it,
anything.
right, not doing it quickly.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Coming up in this episode, by the way, we have the news that our good friend Wes Bryan he almost got his tour card back for the PGA Tour. Just missed out. George Bryan is also in the second stage of qualifying. Bryson DeChambeau literally has the world of golf on edge again, with a completely pointless challenge that simply encapsulated everyone's attention. And 9 LIV golfers are back on the DP World Tour next year, ahead of the Ryder Cup. And there's also some other Ryder Cup news as well. For what we're doing and things you should be aware of, this week we are leaving the rain and the terrible winter weather behind, and we are travelling for the first time to South Africa. Yeah, which is going to be class.
Crowd noise.
I've never been to Africa before.
Wow.
Never been to the continent, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And I've said this to pretty much everyone because I do mean it. I've honestly not been bothered about going to South Africa. Okay. I love the outdoors. I love nature. Obviously, I love golf. But for whatever reason, South Africa has always been a bit on the periphery. There's always other places I've wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as we got this trip organised, I was having a look at what it's like. And I'm like, how have I not been here 42 times? Mm-hmm. It looks unreal.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah, and not only that, you will be doing some very cool stuff while you're there. Yes, there'll be lots of golf. I hear rumours of wine tastings. I hear rumours of safaris. I hear rumours of, guided tours of wildlife reserves. Me and Kieran aren't going. We're staying here. So the content that you will be collecting and creating while you're there, we're looking forward to seeing. But it will be one of those situations for me and Kieran where the footage comes in and we both sit there going, it looked really nice.
It's going to be amazing.
It's so sad that I wasn't there.
Unfortunately, I have to go. I have to be there. I would gladly sacrifice my spot.
Would you?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
I think Kieran could do a really good job of all the reviews.
Unfortunately, I just can't. I've got to be there. It's a killer. God, no, again. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Yeah, we are. Yeah, I think it's something stupid. We're playing like about 9 courses in 10, 11 days. And then, like you said, safari, wine tasting. Wine tasting I'm looking forward to, but the last time I did wine tasting, I was in a rough way.
Was the last time you did it when we were in Turkey?
No. That was like a little sampling.
Yeah.
Like a proper wine. I was in France.
Oh.
I was in Provence.
Oh.
In the south of France. It was my last trip as a newspaper journalist.
Wow, that's a long time ago then.
We went there and they took us to this vineyard and the whole area was very famous for its rosé. And the vineyard was amazing. We had a lot of glasses, a lot of samples. And then they took us to our hotel, which was in an old monastery.
Of course.
And plied us with more of this wine. And then the next day, the whole press trip, we were going up this, I can't remember the name of it. Maybe someone's been there before, but there's a very special place where there's a huge mountain. The whole area is arid. It's not desert, but it's very,
and by the way,
dry.
welcome to the Mountain Podcast.
Yeah. It's very arid, this whole area, but there's this huge mountain. And on one side of it, scooped out, there's this big, massive hollow. And there's a forest in there that's been there for like millions of years.
Okay.
And built into the mountainside is a shrine.
I thought you were going to say a bar where we had more wine.
Oh, no, God. Yeah. It's built in this like old shrine where it's like people go on pilgrimages and stuff like that. Okay. I don't know. I wasn't really listening because we had to walk up this mountain and I had the worst hangover you can ever imagine.
Yeah, rosé will do that to you.
So I'm not entirely... I was very, very sick by the time I got to this shrine. I was praying for divine intervention to take me away from my pain.
Pete's really into this. Like, didn't think he was going to like it as much as he does.
Why is he on his knees?
Why is he crying?
Why is he on his knees? Why is his head banging against the floor? What's going on here? And then, the drive back was horrendous. So we're going there, and I'm going to pace myself. This week we have a Bryson-inspired Break 50 video coming out.
Oh, yeah.
With the Bryan Bros.
Did you make that?
I did, yeah. It was a bit.
Mm-hmm. Exciting.
And that is coming from Selena. And that is our last video from Selena.
Oh.
And another one which came out this week was the 1v1v1 with Grant and Rick, which is it's definitely a 1 out of 10 video anyway on the YouTube stats. And probably our fastest growing video of the year. I think we've had 100k views on it daily since it came out.
Yeah, it's been very, very well received. So thank you so much for watching it. Well done on whoever did the edit on that one. Who was that?
That was me. Yeah,
that was Kieran again. Well done, good job. Yeah, we were at it was the Pete versus Rick match that we knew. You know, we hadn't had a Pete versus Rick match on our channel 10 years or something. Since
it was something
for a long time.
It was something stupid. Like we've always, obviously in the past we've done a lot of videos, but this was the first 18-hole. No, the previous one at Fairmont was the first 18-hole kind of match we'd done.
With your own clubs.
With using our own clubs
Yeah.
on our channel, like which is kind of very weird.
So that did very well, which we expected because it had been such a long time since there had been one. And then we were like, you know what would be great if we just sprinkled a little bit of Grant on top.
Sprinkle Grant, yeah. It's
Add
pretty,
a little bit of Selena, put in some Peak playing quite well.
It's
and
two heavy hitters.
Yeah. How did you get on?
3 heavy hitters.
Three heavy hitters. Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
No, you and Grant.
Yeah.
How did how did you get on in that competition?
You know what? Go check it out and go watch. It was nice. It was nice for a change to actually play some good golf on my channel. It's been a long time since that's happened, so that was good. And it's also the whole videos that we got from Celine. It's really boosted the channel, especially subscribers. So we're closing in on 700,000 subscribers now.
Yeah.
If you haven't subscribed to the main channel, Peter Finch Golf channel, please do. Head over there, hit that subscribe. It'd be great to get there before the end of the year, be a nice little Christmas present. And then also on the Swing Quest channel, we're almost at 100,000 subscribers, and it'd be great to have a little silver plaque. I'm presuming that they still give out those.
Yeah, I would like one for the Swing Quest channel before the end of the year.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
That would be excellent.
That'd be nice.
I feel like we're almost there.
I'd like one for the rough cut as well. Really.
Oh, yeah. So we've just gone past 25,000,
I know, yeah.
which is excellent. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. We're going to set you a challenge that by the end of the year, we'd also like one of these plaques for this channel. So we're going to need 75,000 more subscribers before the end of December. I'm sure you guys can make that happen. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now.
Yeah.
I think one of us may be more realistic than the other, but you never know. We will see. And that's it. I mean, the content we've got from Selena has been fantastic, and it's probably a little bit more of an introduction into what would happen moving forward, because I think pretty much everyone who was there that week has got really good videos, really good feedback. So I imagine early on next year we'll probably try and get together again, I think.
Yeah, I would like us to kind of host one like the Bryan Bros did. I mean, we don't own a golf course, so it'd be a bit tricky for us. But I'm sure we can find a great venue in the UK or in Europe somewhere and invite everyone and say, look, we're all going to be here. This is the videos we want to get done. There's an extra 5 days or 7 days or whatever. And here's all and then get it all organized, get everyone there and do it again. Because it was like a really, I mean, you guys went on the trip. I imagine it was pretty full on, but the stuff that we've got out of it has really, really been worth it. So
it's very, very, very good.
Yeah, it was intense. Like the whole week was just non-stop. But the only probably issue with it is like you don't want to do too many of them. So if you do too many of them, the impact is kind of lessened and the anticipation isn't built up for these like big collaborations if you just keep doing them. So when the next one will be, I've absolutely no idea. I think there's something going on in March.
Oh.
In all fairness, in March looks like it's going to be a very, very busy, chaotic kind of month. A lot of travel.
Excellent.
Going into April as well. So yeah, it's going to be intense.
Speaking of intense, the Sunday golf, well, the weekend golf in general, in the world of professional, ball whacking, has been very interesting. In some very sad news, our good friend Wes Bryan, he did lose his tour card. Do you want to talk us through what happened over the course of the weekend? Who made it? Who didn't? Because that 125 bubble that people are all very close to and around, it took some big scalps, and Wes just happened to be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness to Wes, even in his own words, I don't think he was quite expecting to be in this position. So I think over the last few months, he's made, I want to say it's 5 out of 6 cuts. I think he made 5 in a row, then missed the cut at the RSM Classic, which was the final event in this autumn-fall series. And the top 125 players in the rankings got their card secured for next year. Now, a lot of these players, like Scotty, for example, he's not needing to play because he's number one. He's going to get his card, all the rest of it.
I just want to top up the points.
Yeah. I wish he would have played because I wanted to get to that 13 number of wins.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, anyway, Scotty, enjoy your time off, slacker. But Wes was on the number. He was on the 125 number coming into the week. If he'd have made the cut, chances are he would have made it, probably improved his ranking. But he missed the cut and he just missed out. And like I said, I don't think even he was expecting to be in this position. So if he'd have got his card, it would have just been the best, most incredible bonus.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like it wasn't, as far as I'm aware, like chatting to him, a goal at the start of the year.
Really?
Yeah, he's just been enjoying playing.
Yeah, I think that's honestly, I do think that is the right way, particularly for someone at his, at his level. Obviously, he's the best golfer that, the YouTube, apart from what's his name, that the YouTube space has. I think he's gone about it the right way then, if that was his mentality. Like, I'm just going to play as good as I can, try and enjoy myself. And then, oh, look, I've found myself in a position where if I play well at this one weekend, I get to do it all again next year. But didn't quite come off for him.
Well, I think he's kind of got that. Obviously, he's got YouTube to kind of fall back on. Obviously, some of the guys that don't have very successful YouTube channel, it's obviously probably a little bit different for those guys. But like with him, it's like you say, it's just that bonus of he's still going to make YouTube videos and still focus on YouTube, but then just to have his card would have been just an added bonus,
Will he still get to play some events?
I think so. Yeah. When you basically what you do is when you get the top 125, for example, what would happen is each week, apart from the signature events and some of the limited field events, if you enter that event, you're kind of guaranteed to play.
Okay.
So let's say you got 125 spots in a field, but there's 20 players who aren't turning up. Potentially, Wes can get some starts in some of those events.
Cool.
So he's not like completely off the tour, but not having the guarantee is obviously going to impact things because you can't plan your travel and all the rest of it. It makes it all really difficult.
Yeah.
I think there's obviously some other players who did miss out on the card as well. You got players like Francesco Molinari, Jimmy Walker.
It's okay.
Listen,
Pete's favourite player is
Francesco's dead to me now.
Wow.
So there are some other players who did lose their cards, and it's a tough scene. Like, you get these really good players. Obviously, everyone, if you're a tour professional, you want to be playing on the PGA Tour. Well, certainly a lot of players want to play on the PGA Tour. And to get so close and just miss out is kind of heartbreaking. Yeah. You have other players like Joel Damon, friend of the channel.
Well done, sir.
He managed to make the cut, and he's got into that top 20, 125.
It was pretty emotional as well afterwards. Did you watch the interview afterwards?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And he's just one of those guys. There was a meme of like Tiger with all his trophies. And it was just like Joel Damon when he has to shoot a score to get his card.
God, it's
Because he always did this.
He just turns it on.
Yeah, when there's something on the line, when he's reached the very bottom and he's like fighting, that's when he seems to produce all these amazing scores.
Strange.
It is an odd one. But yeah, unlucky Wes. It's been a hell of a ride this year. He's had a hell of a year. Think about it.
Yeah, he played in the group knockout at Salina.
Yeah.
He played in the 1v1v1 earlier this year.
He nearly won a PGA Tour event as well. Like, he literally nearly won a PGA Tour event.
Like,
he's had a good year.
We don't need to worry about him. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no, we're not worried about him.
Wes is going to be okay.
Yeah.
So nobody panic.
He played thoroughly average at the Creator Classic.
Did he? I thought
he was in the top 4.
He got in the top 4. Yeah.
In fact, didn't he get snaked by Roger Steele on the final green because Roger Steele wasn't told that he was allowed to go down the opposite fairway on the 18th?
Yeah, Roger Steele had a bit of a hissy fit.
Yeah. He mentioned that. I can't remember what video it's from, but he mentioned, I think it got cut out of the video, but he mentioned it like, Roger Steele hates me.
Wes said that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Roger Steele decided to play the hole properly. Everyone else just launched it onto the next fairway.
Everyone completely left, and he was like, I didn't know I could do that. Yeah.
Oh, well.
He watched 3 people do it.
Well done, Luke, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Well done, Luke.
So in other pro news as well, around the world, Patrick Reed shot 59. He won the Asian Tour, first time in 4 years. It was the final event of the LPGA Tour season. The Australian PGA Championship took place. I know Cam Smith just missed out. Who's the lad that won?
Oh,
yes. Did he have a weird name? It was like Elvis or something. Oh, no, that's someone else on the PGA Tour.
He's friends with Mac Boucher. He's a left-hander.
I'm not sure.
This is the problem. This time of year is such an issue because like tour golf is wrapping up. You have qualifying. You have these events that mean a lot to players, like on the bubble, for example. LPGA's wrapping up, but there's just so much going on. It's kind of so hard to keep up.
Yeah, it's just, and also like the big, the big events are all done for this year.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of it feels a little bit like rest, recuperation, bit of hibernation, ready to kick off again in the new year. So your attention is elsewhere, and also there's hundreds of events going on. You're like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah. Well, do you know that event that we spoke about the other week about all those celebrities taking part in it?
Yes.
That's happened.
That happened?
That happened.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't called the match, was it called the showdown?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it seems to have had the impact of a turd hitting the toilet, but nothing has really... I don't even know who won. Not a clue.
I've not seen anything.
I'll tell you who won. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To take reference to Taco Golf, doesn't matter.
If you did watch it, let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
Seems like it's pretty kind of pointless. If you haven't noticed already, Bryson DeChambeau is breaking the internet again. He's hitting a golf ball over his house, trying to get a hole in one, and people are losing their minds over this challenge. Have you seen how many people are doing something similar now?
Yes. So when I initially saw it, I thought, oh, okay, that's an interesting idea. And you're tour pro and you won major, so you're going to do real quick. And by the time I had seen maybe day 2 or day 3, there were already 5 or 6 other people who are doing. There's a guy who's like, I'm hitting it over the pro shop at the club I work at because I don't have a house. There's a guy who's like, I'm hitting it over my neighbor's house. Aaron from St. Andre did the funniest.
That was very good.
The funniest skit of all time, which was also breaking the internet for a short period. But yeah, like everyone's trying to do it. Give it a go?
No. To put this in context, Bryson DeChambeau, who has a lovely house, by the way.
I did think that this is just an opportunity for this millionaire to flex his house on Instagram.
Yeah, bit too much glass for me.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's all right.
Looks like an evil villain's lair.
He's got a mat positioned outside the front of his house, pretty sure it was the front of his house, and he's hitting a wedge shot. It's about 90 yards or something like that, over his house, onto his putting green at the back, and he's trying to get a hole in one. Every day that this goes on, he's adding a ball. So as of recording this, he's just done day 13. When this comes out, he might have done it. He actually hit it in the hole yesterday.
Yeah,
and he
I
pulled
saw
back
that,
out.
yeah.
Clattered the bottom of the flag, didn't it?
But it's good. You wait for it. I'm literally waiting for it every single day. I love it. It's so cool.
You're his target audience.
So cool, man.
But that's the thing,
So
because
cool.
he started it and it kind of just instantly hit a mark. Like I said, every day it comes out, you're like, all right, I will make sure I open the app. Social apps are available. All the social apps are available.
Yeah, we don't have an affiliation.
I'm mostly
with
seeing
the
it on
app.
Instagram. Open it up, see what he's doing, and to see if he's done it. And it's such a simple, easy thing. Admittedly, not many of us have a $5 million house with a putting green outside and sunshine that you can hit over.
Yeah.
But as far as like the simple concept goes, like he's nailed it again. He just keeps on nailing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just simple ideas that, like, as a simple goal that people can really get behind. It's very cool.
And it's also well executed. That's the difference.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that like lots of other people have done. So that, for example, the pro shop guy, he's reading comments. One of the comments recently was, "Why don't you try thick grips like Bryson?" So he puts on this giant putter grip and then gives it another go. But instantly he hits it. There's no, like, Bryson's got a second angle,
Yes.
a third angle on the green.
He's got someone on his roof.
He's got someone on the roof following the ball flight. He's got tracers. He's got, he's doing it to such a high level that when you watch one of the kind of like imitator people, you're kind of like, yeah, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but you're fighting a losing battle because this guy is making such a high quality version of what you're just trying to remake.
He's got to the point as well. He's obviously the mat's in the same place, the camera's in the same place. When he hits it, and he's got like this, I think it's a corrugated iron roof, I think, but it's going over a certain ridge. And even when he's hitting it over that, I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if it's going like one to the right, I'm like, that's going to be right. That's going to be left.
Yeah, I like it when he hits it short by accident and it hits the like wall.
Yeah, like it's a cool like it's just a cool sort of like backyard as well, isn't it? Because it kind of like there's that top ledge and then it goes down. It's so cool. Like you just can't recreate that, and it's just like
No.
So you're going to be doing this from your charging station at the front, over your BMW, over your house, into your back garden? in Dewsbury?
I've not got enough room. That's the problem.
Shot.
I'd have to hit a flop shot. Like,
Did you? Any volunteers to stand on Pete's roof in the rain while we record?
Honestly, don't go on that roof. My God, Victorian terrace roof.
Yeah, bad idea.
Yeah, you're going to be falling.
Real
through
bad
that.
idea.
So maybe we'll recreate. Just get it down to the comments as well if you're watching this on YouTube, or chat to us in the Discord. Give us some ideas. Like, what could we do? What could our version of this be? Because every now and again it crops up. Like the one I always think back to is Tim Nacky, the gambling guy who did the blackjack.
Oh yeah.
And it was like every follower he got, he added a cent to the overall total he was betting, and his whole point was to try and get to $1 million, I think it was.
Yeah, it's wild.
And again, I was there daily. I wanted to see what he was doing.
Yeah, lots of people during the beginning of this year, when kind of running took on its like boom on the socials, were like, for every follower I get, I'll run an extra meter.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're okay, cool. So day 7, you're running like 12 meters.
Yeah.
But then by day 38, you're running 500 meters.
Yeah.
You're like, this is going to get bad.
What was the? Oh my God! It was so stupid, but I loved it. It was an account that just for every follower it got, it added a human, like a human avatar, basically, to an imaginary line to try and get it to go around the earth.
Yeah. I remember that.
So it was and computer generated.
Yeah, computer generated.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
They weren't actually adding.
No. They weren't like getting people lined up.
Excuse me, will you stand in this queue while I make this social content?
And I was like, it's so simple. And then there was like a million other accounts that kind of sprang up copying it. And these things, when they work and when they take off, it can just spread like the reach of the channel to an incredible amount. So we need to come up with something. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
Come up with something for us, please.
Yeah, in the comments, let us know what ludicrous thing we should make Pete do for days and days on end.
Talking about ludicrous things to do, LIV Golfers are coming back to the main tours, and we're going to chat about that after this break.
So, did you see that American players will be getting paid for playing in the Ryder Cup?
I did see this, and it makes me angry.
Just unbelievable.
I can't think of something which annoyed me more when I actually heard that. I don't understand. I don't get the premise about how you could turn people against you in an instant. Just leave the Ryder Cup alone. Just give us something which is still has the veneer of being what golf and what competition is about for the majority of players. It's just you don't need... The thing is, if you qualify for a Ryder Cup team or if you get selected for a Ryder Cup team, you don't need an extra $400,000, which the American players are going to be paid.
Yeah.
If you've automatically qualified for a Ryder Cup team, you have had an incredible couple of years, you're fine. You're okay.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to worry about you financially. So getting compensated to play in an event which means so much to so many people and is one of the truest forms of golf and one of the best forms of entertainment still within golf. You just leave it alone. And then when Rory McIlroy came out, kind of just after it, you can love or hate Rory. One thing I really like about him, he always says what he thinks. If you agree with his opinion sometimes or not, I'm not sure. But when he comes out and said literally the European players would pay to play in the Ryder Cup.
100%. All of them, you would think, would give their right arm to play in that tournament.
And we should say this is just a proposal. This has not been agreed yet, but there's a majority of the Ryder Cup US players who want this to happen. On playing
Patrick Cantlay,
Xander Schauffele.
Xander Schauffele, literally, Xander's like...
I mean, I will play devil's advocate here. So the PGA of America, so this isn't the PGA Tour.
Okay.
The PGA of America, they have the rights to the Ryder Cup. The DP World Tour, European Tour, have the rights to the Ryder Cup in Europe. Mm-hmm. When you have an away Ryder Cup, the European Tour won't get anything for the American Ryder Cup as far as like revenue goes.
Right.
That all goes to the PGA of America.
Got you. They're putting on the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just flying out there to play in
exactly.
it. Got you.
So what the argument is, the players are saying, well, the Ryder Cup is financially by far the biggest event in golf. Like the money that's generated, the TV rights, all the rest of it is a single event. Nothing comes close.
Wow.
Which makes sense. You know,
It's very true.
I'd be interested to see it versus the Masters and the Open, but I guess those things are, more common, so they happen more often.
Yeah.
And, it's less of a team event, and you kind of... interesting, though. I wouldn't have thought that it was the biggest.
From a financial standpoint, because if you think about it, the Open, for example, obviously I love the Open. I work there every year. I'd watch it if I wasn't.
You're playing in it next year,
of course. But I'm a golf enthusiast
and British.
If you are Jeff off the street who has a passing interest in golf, probably you're not really that bothered about watching majors, but you'll watch the Ryder Cup.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Because of the atmosphere and all the rest of it. So the investment and the interest in the Ryder Cup is so much higher. So what the American players are saying is, you're getting this massive money machine, and yet the people who are playing in it, the talent who are playing in it, they're not being compensated. So that's the argument from the American side. And, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I can understand where they're coming from. If they weren't already being very well compensated for what they're doing for a living already.
Yeah, there we go. That's I am the first person to say, oh, you poor sad millionaires, you're not getting paid for this event that, the players below you who aren't getting paid millions of pounds to win tournaments every week would, again, love to play in this tournament and not get paid for it. So how about you don't get paid for it, none of you lot play, and then you win by a landslide again? I'd like that.
Sure you would.
Now, this is the question I have. Do you think that, first of all, the debacle about the bloody ticket prices at the Ryder Cup for next year at Bethpage being so extortionately expensive, they did sell out.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
Sort of.
Kind of, yeah. So the tickets have gone very quickly, very, very high demand, as you can imagine. Do you think that the cost of those tickets, plus the fact that the American players are now going to potentially get paid for it, has kind of resigned the US team to just thinking about the money of the, or the US fans as well, just thinking about the money of the tournament? And will that play into the European team's hands? Because our fans can go there and sing for 3 days about how much money you lot are getting paid, and you're still not winning.
Yeah.
I think that the Americans might have made a rod for their own back by all they're doing is talking about money. They don't care really about winning the tournament. Great. We'll come there and snatch it from under your noses.
I mean, it's not, to be honest, I don't think it's a lack of passion, say. I don't think the Americans want to win it any less than the European team want to win it. But I just think having money coming into the argument from a player standpoint, it just taints it for your average fan. Because the whole point of the Ryder Cup is that you play for your country, you play for your nation, you represent them in the purest way possible. And kind of when you get paid to play, and when you're demanding to be paid to play for something which gives so much joy to your average golf fan, in an environment where you're already an incredibly wealthy person, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
And you get the one thing which really bugs me about this is how short-sighted it is. If you play in a Ryder Cup, financially, you will not get compensated at the time. Afterwards, the endorsement deals that you get if you're a successful Ryder Cup player,
if you play well in the Ryder Cup.
We'll have to find this, and I don't want to quote a wrong figure, but it was something like if you're named a Ryder Cup captain, on average, it's worth about $5 to $8 million worth of endorsements.
Wow. And in some instances, you don't even play.
Well, if you're a captain, you don't play.
You don't really, yeah.
Until Keegan Bradley picks himself.
Well, maybe, yeah. So it's you just got to be willing to sacrifice a little bit of time, and then you'll get this huge incentive and payoff anyway. And then you'll go down. You can't put a price on being marked down in history as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know that you people watching and listening will hate what I'm about to say, but I like to make a comparison between what's happening in the golf world and what happens regularly in the world of football, as in soccer for you people who call it the wrong name. When you go and play for your country, in general, you don't get paid, right? You turn up and you put on your country's kit and you play because you're there with people that you don't get to play with on a team every week. You don't get to train with all of the people who play in other countries who represent your country, if that makes sense. You get together for this short period of time and you do something that means much more than how much you're getting paid. There are people in that team who earned millions and millions of pounds that year playing the sport that they love and that they're very good at. And there are people in that team who got paid much less, who maybe play in a lower league or on a lower tour or whatever. Maybe didn't win any PGA Tour events, but got in because they were a pick or whatever. Those people come together, and it then instantly, you put on the team colours. It doesn't matter how much you get paid. You're there to play because you want your country and your team to win. And imagine watching a World Cup game and just thinking, oh, they're only there because they're getting paid to play.
Yeah.
Imagine if Messi was like, well, he's retired now, and I'm not playing for Argentina unless you pay me the same thing that my club pays me. Are you having a... naff off, we'll get someone who wants to do it. That's how I think they should have approached it. Is that like, you want to get paid? Cool. You're not getting paid. And if you do want to get paid, go and play somewhere else because you ain't playing in this tournament. No one gets paid in this tournament.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds. Because it's interesting. One of the big dividers between the teams as far as who can get selected is obviously where you play your golf. So European Tour will have the rights to the European Ryder Cups. So one of their prerequisites is you need to complete a certain number of events on the European Tour and obviously be high enough ranked in the world rankings to qualify automatically. So with that in mind, we have 9 LIV golfers, not all of the European, who have actually paid their fines on the DP World Tour and will be playing DP World Tour events next year. So that's Sergio, obviously Ryder Cup, Tyrrell, Ryder Cup, Rahm, Ryder Cup, Maronk, Ryder Cup. Come on, Adrian.
Absolutely no chance.
Dean Burmester, who's South African, Neiman from Chile, obviously. Peters, Belgium, Ryder Cup. Reed, USA, Ryder Cup. And then Herbert, Australian. So there's a few players in there who won't qualify for that, but they will qualify for President's Cup as well. And the President's Cup this year was really very much a one-sided event because so many of the international players were on the LIV Tour and they didn't qualify.
Yeah.
So, you have players here who are actively... It's not quite the same, and I obviously understand that if you go to LIV and you're a big name player, you're going to get a lot of money. So paying a fine for the DP World Tour is honestly not a lot for these guys. Like Rahm, what was it, 400 million over 4 years?
Yeah.
Like, he can afford to pay a fine from the DP World Tour. He's not going to be out of pocket.
Wasn't this fine like something like 300,000 or something?
Yeah.
Maybe less.
Yeah, when you talk about these figures, nothing makes sense when it starts to get to these figures.
Yeah.
So those guys have paid those fines with the idea that they can get back, play some events, and then hopefully qualify for Ryder Cup, which is, from a European standpoint, is what you want. But if you're on the DP World Tour, like, how do you feel about this? Because it was controversial. These guys have been paid a lot of money to go join a rival tour. They're still going to be playing on that tour, but they've paid a fine and they want to come back and play DP World.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit of both, isn't it? It's like, obviously those people that are coming back, Tyrrell, Rahm, Sergio, they're all sort of like, your big names that will attract these people to come in, where, the DP World Tour does really struggle with getting patrons in, getting supporters in, getting eyeballs onto these events. Bringing these people in is probably a good business decision for them. But I know it's kind of like you have your cake and eat it. Is that a phrase? You know what I mean? So it's very difficult. I love watching Tyrrell. I love watching Rahm. So the more opportunity I get to see them, it's always a good thing. And having Sergio back's pretty cool.
Yeah,
as well.
the difference is that, yes, it's have your cake and eat it, or the other way around if you've watched Manhunt Unabomber.
What?
If you've seen that, you'll know that we say that phrase wrong, and that the entire time it was written the other way around. It's supposed to be eat your cake and have it too, instead of the other way around, which is how we say it. Anyway, It's from the Unabomber series. What was I saying? Oh, yes. Yeah, it is a little bit like that. However, they did pay the fines. The DP Worlds, they've said, right, you went to this tour. If you want to come back, you got to pay these fines. And they've gone, okay.
Yeah.
And they paid them. If they hadn't paid them and still got to play, then I would have a problem. But you did your crime. Yeah. You paid your punishment, which was your fine for leaving and playing on a rival tour. And now, in theory, you can come back.
Yeah.
Is it in their contract now, though, that they get to still play live events and play DP World events? Because that's a little tricky.
Yeah, but the thing is, live have never particularly cared. Like, if you go to live, you're on a contract to play in their events. But outside of that,
They don't care.
you do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
You should do whatever you want.
Yeah, but if you go and then play another live event, are the DP World going to go, oh, it's another fine?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So they've bought themselves immunity from... It feels weird.
It does feel weird. It just shows like what a weird place the golf's in at the moment.
And it's all about
men's
this.
professional golf.
Yeah, it's just about the money now, isn't it, really?
Well, of course. I mean, let's be honest about it. It's always about if you're playing professional golf, and this is one of the big dividing lines for me. If you're playing professional golf, you're playing in events to win money. That's your job. There's a dividing line there between that and the Ryder Cup, or the President's Cup, or the Solheim Cup, because that's a separate issue. When you start playing for your country, when you start playing for the pride, it's a very different thing for me, and this is why it's a interesting situation. Why the American players want to be paid, because again, from their side of things, we're playing an event. There's a lot of money involved. We want to be paid for that, but because they are professional sports people, but it just doesn't sit right. If you're playing in an event and LIV Tour come along and offer Ram 400 million. So this is your job. We're going to pay you 400 million over 4 years to do it. Do you want to do it? I mean...
Yeah, what they got in those deals was security, wasn't it? Like, it now kind of really doesn't matter how well you play. Like Cam Smith is a prime example. Like, he went to LIV, immediately saw a downturn, stopped playing well. Yeah. In theory, he's still a very good golfer, but he stopped playing as good as he was playing before he left, and still got to collect his paycheck. In the DP World and PGA Tour situations, you have to play well to get paid. Whereas when you take LIV money, the money's there regardless of how you perform. So that's the difference between the two. Does that mean... what I want to know is, where do you think the line is for people coming back and getting to play in an event like the Ryder Cup?
There's no lines anymore.
Yeah,
it's just all squiggly. It's like a spaghetti just being thrown down on the table.
And next year it's going to be even... I predict it being even more spaghettier.
Spaghetti.
It's going to be just like...
Bolognese everywhere.
It's just going to be...
I mean, next year you've got... So you got new things coming in as well. So you got TGL. You've got obviously LIV Tour. You've got the prospect of a LIV PGA Tour merger. You've got the DP World Tour. All of these kind of, and this is on the men's side, you've got all these kind of different factors fighting against each other. You've got the best players from the DP World Tour qualifying for the PGA Tour. And it just, the whole thing is still a complete mess. We just want it simplified. Yeah. Just want to understand what's going on.
My prediction for next year is I think that by the end of next year we will have some unity. I really do believe it.
Do you think?
By the end of the year, I really think there's going to be just something.
I think pretty much early in the new year.
Yeah.
The thing is, at the you're going to have a new old president, a president going into the White House who's actively loves golf and who has actively been having meetings with PGA Tour and LIV executives. And he's openly said that he'll sort the whole thing out within, what did he say? It was something stupid, obviously. But he was like, I'm going to sort it out within like 7 minutes or something silly like that. Yeah. But you know what? In this case, I actually believe him. I think he'll just say, because the whole hold up here is through the LIV PGA Tour merger. It's the US Senate or the House of Representatives, whatever it is. It's the lawmakers, basically.
Yeah.
And you can sort this out with the will if you really, really want to.
Yeah. So is the sticking point that it would remove competition from and it's a bit like a monopoly on professional golf if you have one tour where everyone plays.
Yeah,
right?
and it's something about kind of foreign investment into a US based company.
Oh yeah.
It's something
There's
like that.
Rules about it.
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but yeah, I think Kieran's right. I think it'll get sorted pretty quick.
Yeah.
What that looks like, God knows.
No idea.
Who knows? Yeah.
Well, LIV are looking for a new CEO, so if President Trump has got some time on his hands.
Yeah. Well, also, I've been chatting with Bryan Bros, chatting with a few other guys. I think we should just get a YouTube team in there.
that's coming up in the break 50 episode. That is, you guys, you need to watch the break 50 episode. Like, it's brilliant and it's hilarious, great golf. And then, like you say, this comes up, and it's like the storyline of the whole video, and it's great.
Yeah. I'm going to go for the tubers.
The tubers.
And our logo is going to be a potato.
Yeah.
With a play with a YouTube logo in the middle of it. I think that's what we're going to go for. So you heard it here first.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
And all you've got to do is not finish last, and it will work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're talking decent as well. I think the offer on the table is they're going to sign us for £32.50.
Oh, and a packet of penny sweets.
It's for a 12-year contract.
Okay, so it's you three. What's the team?
What's the team? Saying Bryson.
The problem is you'd have to get Bryson. You'd have to rip him out of the Crushers.
I don't think he's going to do it.
The thing is, though, unfortunately, I've got a feeling that I might be the first one to kind of.
I was just thinking that because when I said you three, I was like, I don't know.
That's the problem. Like, get this invite. You got George and Wes Bryan, you got me, and then you got, I don't know, like people knocking on the door of, you got Brad Dole, you got Luke Kwan, Sean,
Nick Vogt.
You got a lot of people who are there saying, you know what,
I could do this.
Kind of crap.
Yeah, right.
So
Ruffles, you got a load of good people in there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what we like? We like competition over places. Let's have two teams.
Or if I get in there early and I get the captaincy,
yes,
they can't kick me off.
Oh, actually, newsflash: captains can be relegated now.
Yeah, after a few years.
Right. Okay. So you just get the money.
I'll get me yacht.
Take
and
the
then,
32.
Yeah, relegate me. Yeah.
Does anyone know what's happened to Majestics this year? Like, is that team just going to just disintegrate? So now the tubers are going to come in.
Yeah. We could take the place of the Majestics.
I'm pretty sure every single one of them. I might be wrong, but like every single one of them was in the relegation zone. I mean, I think Sam was all right. Sam Horsfield was up there, but like Lee Westwood. Yeah,
we're there.
Yeah,
we are there.
I have actually. I'll tell you off camera, but I have some very interesting news about Majestics. So I'll talk to you off camera about it.
What do you mean?
I know something that the rest of the world doesn't know about Majestics yet.
Oh,
so maybe we'll put it out as a short clip or something. If I'll find out if I'm allowed to say anything. If I'm allowed to say anything, then we'll keep it in. But otherwise, we're not allowed to talk about it yet. But yeah, the Majestics are not going away.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, we'll see when the tubers get in the building. Right.
Potato team.
Potatoes, mate.
You were just talking about like root vegetables the whole video. Like
mountains and root vegetables.
All our sayings are going to, because tubers is not just potatoes, apparently. It's like root vegetables.
Yeah.
We found this out. So
honestly, when you said tubers, I thought about brass instruments, and I thought that's an interesting.
I was in tubers.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, tubers.
Yeah.
So we're going to have all our logos and all our kind of catchphrases are all going to be vegetable-based puns.
Yeah. Like, I'm just going to peel it off that corner.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I'm going to mash this down the fairway.
Exactly. Yeah,
there you go.
I'm just going to chip this in. Come on.
Easy.
Contribute.
I think you said them all. I can't remember how many we got in the video.
I can't do this. My head's fried.
Anyway, guys, I just want to say huge thank you for listening. Huge thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. If you're following us on your favourite podcast provider, make sure you add us to your favourites so you can listen to us chat crap every single week.
Correct.
Like I said, big week coming up as far as what we're doing. So please stay tuned and hop over to our socials because that's where you're going to get most of the updates.
We haven't even told people about the thing that's coming, a Christmas special on the main channel. Are we going to save that?
Is it a Christmas special? The film tomorrow.
I'm going to make them wear Christmas hats.
I don't know if we're going to wear Christmas hats because it kind of dates it straight away. But
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it either. Anyway, something that everyone has been calling for is happening again. So stay tuned.
And there might be a podcast from it as well.
Yeah, it's the calendar. Right, guys.
Now we're actually leaving.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
See ya.